Yo, what is going on, everybody? Isaac Mashman here, and welcome back for another episode of Chase the Vision with Isaac Mashman, the show that is all about helping you become a more capable individual through sharing my experiences and knowledge in business, life, and personal growth, while also having conversations with people who are here to share their own experiences and knowledge in their respective fields. Now, today, I have a good friend of mine. He is a previous client of mine. He is somebody who I've been working with hands-on, and after hearing his story and getting to know him a little bit better and just looking at his credentials, I'm like, man, I need to bring you onto the show to share, your story. And I don't think he's ever been on a podcast before, so I'm grateful to say that I'm another person's first in this regard, because I've been having that a lot lately, inviting some really awesome people to get their stories out there. And I have none the other than Bryan Greene out of Newport Beach, California. Bryan, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Isaac. Yeah, you're my first, man. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, man, I mean, we could go in a million different directions of conversation, but being that you're just now making the splash in the world of personal branding, getting yourself out there. I mean, you have all the success in the back end, been building a successful training facility as a personal trainer and as somebody who's an owner and a business owner and an entrepreneur. But now it's like, yo, it's time to get my message out there. It's time to get my, story out there. And so, can you tell, the people who are listening to Chase the Vision a little bit about you and where you're from and how you came up?
All right. Well, actually, originally from New Jersey, moved out to Lake Tahoe when I was 8 years old. And my parents put me on skis, and I never stopped from there. Competed in alpine racing, competed in freestyle. And actually was but I wasn't actually affording the place that I lived because I was that kid that worked at a gas station while we're living a bunch of millionaires next door. So while doing that, worked at a gas station and just competed with soccer and skiing, but skiing was my main thing. 18 years old, I jumped off a cliff for a Warren Miller film. Didn't really make the film, but I did make Breaking My Back. Didn't know it. Totally destroyed my career. Had to get full reconstructive hip surgery. And from there, I started to rebuild and said, hey, I have to get back to school because I'm going to get kicked out of it. I need to rehab as fast as I possibly can. So I started studying fitness, working out. Kinesiology was one of my college degrees. So I said, hey, this all is intertwined. Let me do what I know how to do, which is work out, play sports, get better again. And then all of a sudden I became a personal trainer, which I never, ever, ever thought I was going to be. Actually, my main goal for moving down to Southern California was acting, but never, ever really, really thought that I would get into fitness. Just happened to do it. And there it was, worked at a bunch of gyms, got over the gym scene, opened up my own business, my very first one when I was 25 years old, then opened up to a facility, then moved and opened it to a larger facility. And now I'm in even a larger facility in Newport Beach, California.
Man, it's really cool. And before we jump into the Look Fitness, don't be afraid to name drop the company, man. Like, be proud of
All right,
that.
well,
If you're if you're watching the video, you see that he's wearing the logo. I absolutely love the logo of the facility. Yeah, I love that, man. I need one of those shirts and one of those hats. I need to talk to you about that. But back when you first got this injury and you're laying in the hospital bed and you go from being the super active young guy who's competing and who's like, man, like fitness is, you're very, very important. You're not able to compete unless you're in top physical condition, and then you're just becoming bedridden, right? You're just kind of there. And then you have some bad news from the doctor, and if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, the doctors are like, the chances of you recovering this quick are slim to none, yet you're over here listening to videos and really educating yourself without external help. Can you talk to us about, like, how were you feeling when you were in that bed, and then what were some of the things that the doctors told you that you're kind of just like, nah, I'm not associated with that. I'm not going to believe what you're saying.
Oh, well, I won't forget the day I got the phone call from the doctor. I went to like 12 different doctors. First off, I went after like chiropractors, foot doctors, podiatrists giving me 5,000 orthotics and just trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I said, screw it. Went to the US ski team orthopedist surgeon. He's like, you broke your back. I'm like, wait, what? He goes, yeah, you broke your back, which is fine now, but you need full reconstructive hip surgery now. I'm like, no, I can put it off. I got school. He's like, no, you got to do it now. So hearing that, I'm like, dude, I'm going to get kicked out of school. Like, literally, I busted my butt to get in this program, and now I'm going to get kicked out? You got to be kidding me. All right, well, how long is the recovery? 6 to 8 months. Well, 6 to 8 months, dude, I got to be back in 2. He's like, you're not getting back in 2. He's like, you're going to be in a wheelchair in 2. That'll be great. Push yourself around, but you have to do your rehab. So that's when I started studying. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm like, okay, well, when can I ski again? Yeah, that's not happening either, dude. You have no disc between your T12 and L1, which is your lumbar arch. It's like literally right where your thoracic and your lumbar meet. It literally is one. So if you ever watch me bend over, you will see that my back does this. It doesn't do this. It literally, I'm like a drawbridge. So it's either I'm up or I'm laying down. That's it. But I sat there. I'm just like, first, I am going to ski again. There's no possible way. So if I ever want to go back to compete or coach, I will. And second, I do have to get back to school. I already busted my butt as a transfer student to get into this program. And there's just no way I'm going to get kicked out. So I got all the permission from my teachers. They're like, yep, you have to jury early, which is like an audition. Jury early. And yeah, get back here in 2 months. If you're not, then, you know, we're sorry, but reapply maybe in the future, which was pretty much you're out. You're not getting back in. Like you start off with 2,000 students, they break it down to 1,500, then it's down to 60, 30, and they only graduate 12 people with that BFA. So you gotta be kidding me.
Well, when you're talking about, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that when you're in a competition, like a competitive program like that, you can't expect empathy to go all the way to the end. You know, they have to be understanding, but to a degree, it's like getting into Harvard. Like if you're out of the school for a year, like you're naturally going to be back, and it's not fair to the other people who are part of that program.
Correct.
So, man, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. So, and I understood it. I mean, it was very competitive, which was pretty much my life. I mean, so I'm like, okay, bring it. It's a competition. Again, it was a doctor said that, no, you can't do it. So now you're giving me a little edge, a little attitude of, can't tell me what to do. No way. So that's when I sat there and I started studying like all these rehab techniques of how I was going to do my therapy. I brought it up to the physical therapist who was doing my rehab. He did a lot of US ski teams and professional bull riding, because bull riding in Reno, Nevada is huge. And so they're like, you know, hey, why not? You know, the funny enough is 3 other people are getting your surgery at the same time. Let's see how it works. So I literally, every kind of physical therapy I did with them, my foot was like on a racquetball. I had like more stability because of all the studies I did, and it was just different. And when I walked out of there 2 months afterwards, I was on a cane, and the guy who's a professional bull rider, who was the same age as me, same surgery date, everything, he was still on both crutches. So it was pretty awesome to see he was like crutching around and I was caning it.
Why didn't you? So it was kind of that like rebellious nature that you had that I think maybe fueled you forward, and a little bit of like an FU energy of like, you told me no, so I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to make you look like an idiot. Did you ever see that doctor again and was like, by the way, remember when you told me that? Well, guess what? Did you ever have an encounter with him? How was that?
Oh, I'm sorry, it broke up a little bit.
No, like, did you ever encounter that doctor again? And you were like, remember when you told me that it would take, you know, maybe 6 to 8 months, and I did it in 2? Did you ever have an encounter with him again?
No, I wish I did.
Oh, man.
The doctor who did my surgery is from Germany. Like, this is actually how it was. Hip surgeries now. My dad got both his hips replaced. He was up walking the next day. I mean, it's so far advanced. This was in 2002 when I got it done. And it's still my hip. It's still my ball joint. It's still my cartilage. This was totally brand new surgery. Before, they would just chop it off, put a new ball in. That was it. But I was 22 years old. They're like, you need to keep your hip. Like, if you don't do this now, you're going to get a fake hip. That thing is going to have so many problems, which you probably see that all over TV of, have you had this hip replacement? You could get a settlement of da, 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 da. It's because they were just so abnormal, and they're putting metal in you. And you're just going to have that complication. The more foreign things are in your body, especially metal, titanium. I have 2 screws in me, and I'm telling you, I felt them a couple times. It's creepy. But they wanted me to keep me. But yeah, I never saw him. He's from Germany. He went in, he flew in to the special hospital, and then he flew out. That was it. Poof.
Got it. You did that television advertiser voice a little bit too well. You did that a little bit too well.
There you go. That's the BFA in acting.
That paid off, right? That experience, getting out and recovering through therapy, also helped you like a decade and a half later, because if I'm not mistaken, you've also had a client of yours, a previous client, who's like your number one testimonial, who came in, and wasn't he paralyzed? I don't remember the exact thing. It might've been ALS, but now he pretty much is up and walking and is doing good too. Like, talk about that experience, learning yourself and being self-taught to helping somebody else down the line.
That's great. So it was West Nile paralysis.
Got it.
So one of the doctors I trained, he is a musculoskeletal doctor. 42 years old, spent the night in the backyard of his house in Fullerton, California, with his daughter, like camping. Just like, hey, let's set up the tent and have fun in the backyard, make s'mores. There you go. He woke up the next day and it was like malaria-like sickness. They could not figure it out. And then he was about to come out of the hospital about 2 days later, and then everything started shutting down. He has got the worst West Nile paralysis case in the world so far. I mean, he couldn't even blink. And he was in ICU for 7 months. Came out, him and his wife and I went way back. I trained her since college. She's a professor at Cal State Fullerton. And he's comes in, and no joke, he rolled in like Stephen Hawking's, pushed in. It was amazing for me to see this because that was the first time I saw him. And he literally said, hey, I think I've reached my peak with physical therapy. You taught yourself how to walk again. What would you do? Like, you have an athletic background, you do professional sports. What would you do? Like, you're educated. And normally, by the way, doctors don't go to personal trainers. Physical therapists don't go to personal trainers. The education only goes as far as a 3-hour cert. And maybe they'll have like a couple workshops, but it's very rare for a doctor or physical therapist to go to a personal trainer. So I literally looked at him and I said, you're a baby. We're going to throw you on the ground, and you're going to crawl, and you're going to wiggle, and you're going to get up to your knees, and then you're going to get up to your elbows, and then you're going to get up. That's the only way. He literally just sat, he goes, why was that the only thing that ever made sense out of all my therapy? Nobody said that idea. I'm home. It's the only thing that was clear to me. He goes, it's so stupid, it makes sense. And that's what we did. I mean, there was a lot of stuff we had to do from the chair, which is probably what he was doing from, pushing against me, building it up. But paralysis is neurological damage. And he had it. It's his nerves are firing and they're building more and more each day. But how much he gets back, we have no idea. But he's standing and walking now.
Wow. It's kind of the same thing.
Recovery.
Yeah, it's similar to like a stroke. If you have a stroke, then you're literally losing the nerves and the stuff like that, and you have to rebuild it. I've known multiple people who had strokes that couldn't walk, that couldn't really speak, that have been, steadily. Like my grandfather had a stroke when I was like 4. It was like 2004, and over the years he recovered. But still, it wasn't to his full recovery because that affects you on such a deep level. And so, man, that's a fantastic story, and just the human brain is a lot more powerful than we give credit to, like give it credit. And I think that's a big issue. And I know of different artists too who have been in car accidents, who were paralyzed, that had to get up and get out. And it's really just about mastering yourself, mastering your emotions, and having that attitude. So you didn't have that attitude. I believe that attitude and emotion is extremely important. And what was your attitude going and working with not only him, but even going back to when you were learning to recover yourself? Did you have like a forward thinking attitude of like, I can do this? Or did you have moments where you were saying, man, this is worthless? Like, what was like, let's get into your emotional state.
Well, one, to be quite honest, I was scared to death because I never make any promises anyway. It's like someone says, well, I want to lose weight. I can give you what I think will happen, but I can't make any promises because I can't control different atmospheres. His is definitely an atmosphere even doctors can't figure out. So I couldn't make any promises. I told him, like, I just do stuff that makes sense to me. And as he'll testify, everything we've ever done made sense. But I researched and researched and researched. I practiced. I did it on myself. Like if I was him, that was the key component. I had to pretend I was him. Like, how many times do we pretend like we're a baby?
Wow.
Like, look how kids get on. Do we ever reenact how we learned how to walk or crawl? We wouldn't have to. So we would never even fathom it as an adult. So I literally put myself, I'm like, hey, I have to get back into that mindset, and not only the mindset, but the physical inability of actually being on the ground and not being able to get up and not having the power to do it. Not only is it going to be physical, but it's going to be mental. So we had to go into, the great thing is he would fall on his face probably at least 20 times an hour and would laugh. And I call him Captain Dubious because every time I would have him do something, he would say, I don't know, I'm dubious. And every time it was kind of like a key word is, it's going to happen. He's going to do it. I mean, even to the point where we got him where he was walking, we had also never got him to the point where he got up on his own until the day he was actually waiting for his wife at the library at the university. And again, this is someone who doesn't have control of his nerves yet, muscles. He's finally getting them reintroduced to mind and body, connecting that mind-muscle connection. And yet he won't fatigue like you and me. We know when we're getting tired. We can feel it, like I'm getting exhausted. When you have nerve damage, you do not get that tired feeling. You just drop. So he was at the library, and it's a Saturday or Sunday, and he dropped right there. Legs gave out and just sat there. And I just laughed. I'm like, you just sat there? Like, people were walking by, didn't see this. They're just, you're just sitting there. He's like, no, I just backed myself against the wall and said, how the hell am I going to get up? Like, so how did you get up? And he's like, well, finally somebody walked by, asked him if they could grab a chair. And that's how he would do it. Just get in the chair. I'm like, well, you just figured out our next active exercise.
Wow.
Get up off the ground. And so we practiced it. I'm like, how would you get off the ground? You and I know how we get off the ground. We go to our knees, we push up our feet, we lean on back, and there we go. But when you do not have that muscle-mind connection, you don't have the nerves firing, your process is completely thrown off. So he would actually, we started him off where he was okay locking his legs out. So we're like, all right, well, go into the Jean-Claude Van Damme split as much as you can. And then I got him a step. And then he would crawl backwards on a step. And then we took it lower. And we took it lower until he was finally on the ground. I said, here we go, do it. It's actually on the Look Fitness YouTube of when he first got up. And it's amazing. I mean, he literally, you see him slowly get up. But that was the only way. It was, all right, go, do it. There's no biomechanical exercise we could practice for it. But that's how he did it. It was great.
Yeah. Now you've been in the world of personal training for nearly 2 decades now. And I think that's a feat in of itself to be at something for so long. And you're still young. You're still like super young into this. Like, and we obviously have conversations behind the scenes about what's next for you and whatnot. But I want to bring a little bit of attention to the Look Fitness, because what you've done with this facility is quite remarkable in the sense to where it's not like a normal open gym to where anybody can come in like a Planet Fitness. And that was done strategically. But if you were to, guys, if you're listening to this, go ahead and search up the Look Fitness in Newport Beach. It's Look, L-O-O-K, like it's pretty simple. And you look into the facility, look into the care that went into the interior design, what amenities are offered. There's been a lot of thought into that. And I know that you started out doing your own personal training business, and then you were also working at different gyms and got screwed over a couple of different times. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about that because it's pretty much the same everywhere across the board. I think that all personal trainers are probably screwed out in a situation like that. But what was it like opening up the facility and taking that leap of faith from I'm just going to be training people to leaving that position into going in? And didn't you start going into one of your previous clients' house, like his garage? And then from there, it grew. Let's talk about that story.
Well, at that time, I worked 2 jobs. I worked at Disneyland as a performer, which is a whole nother story. But man,
what was your suit? Oh, no. Before we go further, what was your suit that you wore? What was your performance?
I was the Mad Hatter in the parades and did their commercials, the Macy's Day Parade. It was.
You never told me that.
I was, yeah. If you want to Google that up with Leanne Rhymes, the Mad Hatter. Yep, I have to say, which was one of the best experiences. I loved working there. I mean, I got to literally run around for hours, bouncing on a trampoline, talking to funny boys, playing with kids, and making their day. I went from working at a gas station, working valet, parking people's expensive cars, ski coaching, to bouncing on a trampoline, easiest job on the face of the planet, and making parents and kids laugh. Even the boyfriends that don't want to be there, like this. Like that was my whole goal. Dude, I'm making you laugh. Right. I am going to mess with you, or I'm going to steal your chick as the Mad Hatter. And they would laugh. It was great. And then, I was working at personal training, because personal training, even though it pays pretty well for, I mean, you could have like zero education to go to personal training, which is sad, but it's true. To building up clientele, which takes a long time. And then, I mean, you don't have benefits, you don't have the world. I mean, it's tough. So I did that for a while. And I told him like, hey, if this personal training, if it ever becomes like serious, I'm out. There's no reason. It's kind of like Disney. It was a fun job. But if it ever got serious, I'm out. I'm done. I'm going to go become a grown-up. I'm going to go work full time. Well, drama started building up at the gym. They sold it. Company changed. They gave and took over the administration of a bankrupt gym and decided like, let's reuse it, which is always a bad idea. That's like saying, now I'm going to take 24-hour fitness's platform. Too soon? Too soon? They'll make it out of bankruptcy. But still, taking their platform and I'm going to reuse it again. And obviously it's not going to work because the first one didn't work. And they were trying to reuse the same administration, the people that are running it, and they're the ones who ran to the ground. And it was becoming serious where people became not only my clients, but these were my friends. Like these are trusted, big time business people. And they wanted me to lie to make to make them more cash flow, because that's what it was. I'm like, I understand what you're trying to do, but you want me to tell them they need to rebuy right now when they have 10 sessions left. So you want me to lie to them saying they can't get that price unless they buy now. Well, yes, that's a lie. I'm not going to do it. I will not lie. Well, now we're going to call. Well, do not call my clients. You call my clients, I'm going to tell them. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose them. Like, well, if they know, then they know. And you told them. That's on you. I'm like, no, it's not. So I did exactly what I said. I told them. I said, hey, I will tell my clients. And I did. And each of my clients said, Bryan, we only come for you now. We don't enjoy this gym anymore. Why don't you open up your own place? And I'll never forget the guy who first came up with the idea. This guy is the creator of fish bags. I did not know this until I met this guy. Fish bags, if they're sealed, either by melting it together or by epoxy, will kill saltwater fish. Obviously, people who sell fish don't want to put them in glass because it costs too much money. So he made a bag that you could fold to transport fish in saltwater. This is genius. Like, dude, things that people come up with, it's like the coffee collar. Genius. 10 cents every time you give a coffee collar away. Yeah, I didn't know that one either. I think I learned it from a rom-com. So he said, Bryan, come to my house. I have a full gym. And take all your clients with you and train them, because most of your clients probably have gyms in their house. And your overhead is zero. You just lose drive time, so charge a little bit more, but you're going to be making a little bit more. Like, you make full sense, Gene. I will do that. And I did. And I transferred everything into Fitness to You. That was my very first business that I opened up. And then started building. And that's when I went more to the brick and mortar and I started renting space. And then I'm like, you know what? I want more, because personal training is great, making great income, no responsibility for overhead except paying lease and paying my rental. But I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want my own thing. I had my own vision for what I was going to do for my gym, because I wanted to cater to my clientele, which happened to be business owners, founders of companies, to the Laker girls, Clippers, Rams, Chargers, all these pro cheerleaders that I met while dancing at Disney.
Right.
And I started training them and then became more affiliated with the pro cheerleaders. So I needed to make a place that was comfortable for both people. And what are both clients looking for? Place where they're not harassed, place where they're not bothered, place that's personable, place that's cheers without the beers. That's how the Look Fitness came up. It was all about the little things. It's not about the sauna, which, by the way, going in the sauna now during COVID, come on. They were gross before COVID. If you want MRSA, staph, ring, hop into that sauna where a guy goes in there without his towel on. Exactly.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, even, dude, you're just like playing Russian roulette with bacteria, and much worse. So it had to be about the little things, had to be comfortable, had to be about trainers knowing everybody's name instead of mad dogging somebody coming in that's not their client, saying hi to somebody else's client.
Yeah.
Because they're worth it. having phone chargers, having Nespresso. Those things go 5,000 miles, where a towel with eucalyptus scent on it can only go so far.
Right.
I mean, you can only hashtag it so many times and people will be like, okay, so
We get it.
your towel smells like eucalyptus. That's wonderful.
Great. Yeah, yeah. You're really talking a lot about culture, and you're talking about the environment and the experience. And I've heard of other, it's not training facilities, but I knew of one CrossFit company out of Jacksonville that had kind of a similar story where they started running stuff out of a garage, and then it grew, and then it grew, and it's like, okay, this garage isn't going to work. Like the homeowners association is starting to get a little pissed off. So let's go ahead and get into a facility. Now, obviously it's not really for profit. It's more of like you donate every single month, and it's not like that. Now, when it comes to the look, your prices aren't cheap, and there's a reason for that. And that's the same reason why I charge $1,500 for one consultation, because it's like, I'm not looking to work with somebody where I have to try to convince you as to why $250 or $1,500 is worth my time. You work with the right people, you don't really have to do as much convincing. And you said something to where you're like, you're doing the Laker girls, you're doing the Clippers, the Dodgers, you're working with these people who are used to being in those situations and are looking for the experience of something. They're looking for results and experience. And that's, you don't get that going into a $20 a month Planet Fitness. You're going to be, women especially, ogled by guys because guys suck.
Correct.
We both can agree on that. For the most part, men suck. I always joke with my girlfriend about that. I'm like, I don't like guys. I don't trust guys. So going in and really determining the environment, what were some of the things that you looked for? Because I'm really big on culture and building a great culture. So what were some of the initial steps of like an espresso machine or a purified water area or phone chargers to where you just put your phone down? Like how did you get those ideas to begin with?
From going from gym to gym to gym to gym to gym. The phone chargers, I'm taking full credit, was my idea from the get-go. I kid you not, there was a couple things actually you can come and get here with the women. Is when I was training so many women, it was, hey, do you have a hair tie? I would put a hair tie on my wrist when I used to train women, and I would have a black and blue hand at the end of the day because it was so cool to be like, there you go. Because if not, they would fuddle with their hair for the hour. You're like, oh my God, come on, you have to do so. Come on, tie your hair up, do the little top bun, come on. So I'd have her hair tie. There you go, boom. I mean, I even have tampons in the bathroom. Just little extra things that took it. Because the funny thing is that when people walked in, oh my God, he's got tampons in the bathroom. Are they like freaking dirt cheap tampons? And I have no clue where my experience on tampons are. But you know what? Kid you not, those things disappear at a rapid rate and people talk about it. Hair ties. They have a hair tie. Why? Because I experienced it through so many years of training. Or, hey, do you have a place for me to plug in my phone? Especially now with all the Instagrammers. Everybody's an Instagram influencer. They're on their phone 5,000 hours a day. It's dead by 9 a.m. in the morning. So they'll come in and be like, oh my gosh, you have a phone charger. It's not, I put a phone charger in before my first facility. I had 2 different plugs, Android and iPhone. Now everybody's got the little plate. So I got super fast charging plates. And that's one of the other things that people talk about. Now they have a plate, but their phone is charged in 30 minutes. I'm like a Tesla supercharger. Now, Nespresso, it turned out, was just funny because one of my clients was like, gosh, you have a coffee machine, Bryan, you should get Nespresso. Like, really? Those are really expensive, aren't they? And he's like, yeah, but worth it. And people, it's just that. Well, I go buy this $400 Nespresso Frappuccino machine. I'm like, gosh, Kent. His name is Kent. Well, that's a really, really expensive machine. He goes, oh yeah, but my company makes the pods for that company. I see what you did there. I see what you good sales tactic. He has paid me time again. I have to say that machine has paid for itself because he gives me a bunch of pods. He's like, hey, I love pods. Here you go, have some. So it's paid for it, but people come in, they're like, you have an espresso? That's awesome. You have phone charge.
I'd be sold.
Yeah.
Give me an espresso, man. I'm paying you whatever amount of money you want to charge me. I'm going in.
Yeah. It's just the little things. So imagine coming into a place that you feel comfortable enough to make your own coffee.
Right.
Or like if you just say, hey, trainer, can you just go pop that one in for? Yeah. Oh my gosh, you just wasted 30 seconds of my life as it warmed up and made it yourself. It's just that little bit. I mean, we have the fancy flow water. When I started the flow water revolution in Southern California, I was the first one. I hunted down this machine. I saw it on that Silicon Valley show, and I'm going to research that thing because that thing's going to be huge. All my doctor clients have them in their office now.
Mm. Why didn't you, what was, okay, so some person that would be listening would think that going out of your way to purchase a $400 espresso machine, which for espresso is even cheap, like those machines can go up to, some of these $1 million homes in Beverly Hills have machines that cost $50,000 that make you every single drink under the sun. Now, I don't know if I'd ever pay for that. I'm fine with the $20 coffee maker from Walmart, but at the same time, you're making these investments back into the gym, understanding that for the time being, like you're not getting paid for a hairband, you're not getting paid for putting tampons in the bathroom. But what was your thought process of like going the extra mile was actually going to be a benefit back?
Well, I knew it was going to be about the little things and going that extra mile. For example, I tell every single trainer after they have brand new client, they do a consultation. Yes, you already sold them, but see how they're doing. Hey, how are you feeling? Are you sore? You should be sore here, 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 and here. You have any questions for me? Okay, great. I'll see you Monday. Train them again. How you doing? How you feeling? Just multi-touching every little part goes so far away because, again, it's personal training. Personal. If a fitness facility is personal, be personal. So those little things, just texting of, hey, how are you? It's like that friend you haven't talked to in a while. And they say, hey, how are you? You still know you're good friends. But if you're that friend that always has to keep reaching out, how are you? How are you? You know, you're that friend that's like, dude, I'm tired of reaching out to them. Like, I get nothing back. They're giving you something. They're giving you a lot of money to personally train. And I always tell them, like, I don't care if they have the worst day. Well, I mean, I care, but I mean, I tell the trainers, you don't care that you have the worst day. You are to come in as a Disneyland and you're Mickey Mouse, and you'll never see Mickey Mouse not smiling. You will never know that, Mickey Mouse's personal problems. You won't. You'll see this. With an, oh boy, that's it. And if you have that professional attitude and you always listen to that personal touch, that personal trainer, that client's personal issues, and you just keep them for yourself and you never tell anybody else, and you're just there for them emotionally, physically, you will keep a client for years.
Right.
It's what I wanted to tell that first gym when they said they wanted their sales gross a little bit higher. So that's why I wanted to sell you more. Well, you'll keep them longer if you just be you. And that's Definitely. It. I mean, that is how they keep in that personal touch of personal training. It's what's missed. A lot of personal trainers out there think it's about them checking themselves out in the mirror and, look at my cycle, look at my Instagram posts, and, especially with the girls, and you tell them over and over, nobody's buying your butt. Stop posting on it.
Right.
All you're buying right there is guys having a good time looking at your pictures.
Yeah. Or guys working with you just to make you feel uncomfortable. Same thing.
Which I have a zero. That's my other part, is I have a zero tolerance for that.
No, as you should, man. And that's the other thing. Let's go ahead and move into this conversation. And there are a couple different things I want to touch on. Man, this conversation has flown by, but you're exactly like me in our respective fields. I am anti PR, pathetic firms. I'm anti, bot followers and that kind of shit. You know that just by working with me. And then for you are 100% against all these influencers who have absolutely no credentials, who are coming in here training people and doing these, let's go ahead and get you to lose 40 pounds in 10 days by drinking nothing but green tea and doing apple cider detoxes. Like, let's have a conversation about that. And what has been one of the worst examples you've seen of a program? Because I think that you've probably seen plenty.
Oh, there's so many. I can go on. This will be hours and hours and hours of hours and hours.
Guys,
you have all the people from the roid cyclers, they just cycle roids through and through, and they say, I'm a natty, I'm a natty, I'm a natty, I'm a natty. Like, you're not a natty. You're eating freaking donuts and have a six-pack. It's a lie. It's a lie. So you'll see these programs. Oh my gosh, it's so great. Yes. This is a great example of this girl lives in the area. She's probably super sweet. I'm not going to throw out her name. She means well, but she posts her workouts. They're not her workouts because she does strength training to build her glutes, to build her physique. It's all heavy weights, but she'll put on the gram a HIIT program, which is high intensity interval training, of her bouncing around and her doing little bands. That girl does not, that girl hits heavy weights to structure that physique. She hits heavy weights. And then she'll put on her eating program of what I eat. She's like, look what I do. I eat 2,700 calories a day. She doesn't eat 2,700 calories a day. That girl is in a massive caloric deficit, probably on Anavar, Winstrol, and probably on Ritalin. So it'll help her lose her appetite. And so she can keep up a little boop, boop, doop attitude on Instagram. That's the real. And there are so many I'm going to throw, I love this guy because my whole goal for me is to look like Thor. But Thor did not become Captain Kirk's dad and then become Thor 3 months later because he worked out with Centrifit. That dude chewed and swallowed steroids for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and ate like a Mack truck. That's how you get that way. It's the only possible way. But they'll sell these Centrifit programs and it'll get you in shape. Working out in general will get you in shape. I don't care if you're running. I don't care if you're jogging. I don't care if you're hiking up a mountaintop. It's going to get you in shape. But for what? You're training. If you're training to get a physique, you have to train to get that physique. How does a gymnast become a gymnast? Train like a gymnast. If you want your shoulders to look like a boxer, you're going to be a boxer. Or the great power of strength training is you simulate it and you can control and you can manipulate your body design to its genetic potential.
Without being too specific on an individual's goals and keeping into mind, there's a very good possibility that we could go back under lockdown and all this other stuff over the next 6 months. That's just the times we live in. People still need to stay in shape, and that's important. Yeah. So what would be a general good daily practice for somebody who's looking to maybe keep that weight off and not necessarily lose a lot of weight, just stay healthy? What would you suggest somebody do?
Well, you're going to live and die by the fork and knife, plain and simple. It's going to come from eating. 80%, you'll hear it over and over, 80% of it's going to be eating. It really will be. And figuring out basically your maintenance eating plan is how you're going to maintain your physique of what you want. Again, you have to eat to get to the physique that you want. To gain weight, you have to eat that way. To lose weight, you have to eat that way. All diets work. I tell every single person that walks through that door, they want a fad diet, cool, I'll give you that. But just remember, fad diets die. First 3 letters, die. That's what diets do. But maintenance eating plan, you can go out and have a beer. You can have French fries once in a while. You can go out and have fun with your friends. You can enjoy the Super Bowl, and you won't gain weight because that's not your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is maintenance. And when you want to take your body to a change, you have to take it out of the environment of maintenance, which is, I want to bulk. I want to cut. It all depends what you want, but it's going to live and die by eating. Now, building and designing your muscle is going to come how you work out and how you focus and how you program design. And if we go back into lockdown, which I mean, holy cow, they keep talking about it. From having weights to having no weights, you still got to move. Your muscle skeletal structure wants to move. Your muscles want to move. Your spine wants to move. I mean, I'm so glad everybody watched The Tiger King 3,000 times and can quote.
Still have never seen it, thankfully.
Oh, sadly, I did. But you know what? If it wasn't for lockdown, that Tiger King show would have never made it. Never made it. But I mean, man, Netflix is probably loving life from the lockdown. But you just have to move. And if people have the excuse of, well, I don't have any weights at home, cool. You want to know the measure of strength is the ability to manipulate your own body movement. Push-ups, squats, pull-ups, inverted rows. We're just holding onto a bar and you're pulling yourself up. That's all you pretty much need. Do it as much as you can and then keep going more and more and more and more. I mean, look at a marathon runner. How do you run farther? You keep running. Keep doing it. How do you get stronger? Manipulate your own body movement. That is a true measure of strength. Like a gymnast, they're not hitting weights. They're throwing their body. And a
Hmm.
gymnast, pound for pound, is probably the strongest human being on the planet.
I've never heard that being put in that perspective before. Now, to transition out of talking just about health, and let's dive into more of a business thing. If we go to your socials, if we go to your brand and we dive into you, you say one, you're a lover of rom-coms, which I think is a hilarious detail to find out, which also transitions into a potential podcast that's coming in the next couple of months. Not to release the name until we release it, but podcasts and sharing stories about some of the experiences with what women are telling you based off of their own life. Like, I'm excited to listen to it, and I'm not
Yeah.
normally somebody who gets into that gossipy type of podcast. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I won't
Oh
talk
yeah.
anymore about that. But talking about, you're working for a residually funded lifestyle. What does that mean to you? Why is that important to you? Because the Look Fitness, man, like you've booked up your calendars. You're working with your trainers to get them booked up. But there's only so much you can do. What's next?
Mm-hmm. So next is being able to have the ability of financial freedom, to step away, to walk away, to be able to, if I want to hop on a flight to go on a trip, be able to do that and know I'm still going to have money coming in, that passive income.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually my main reason why I opened up the Look Fitness, was because I knew being a personal trainer and independent contractor on my own and driving in LA and training the Chiva girls, the Laker girls, that I had to be there. I had to physically be there every single day. Now, I'm still young, but I looked at actually these trainers that weren't. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lose my sparkle. Well, you lose that illusion. And I can't do that. I can't be that 6-year-old who's still training cheerleaders or business people, because again, we also have that persona of having to do that. So I need a outlet, a route that will take care of me from something I've already done,
Mm-hmm.
which is that residual income, that passive income of everything I've created. That's why I need to hand off the football to all these trainers that I've built their careers off of what I've known, of what I've learned, which I wish I had when I was younger. I mean, my career would have been a lot farther down the road if I had me saying, do this, do that. Don't listen to this. Nope, you need to go market like this. Nope, you got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, you don't get into that drama whatsoever. You walk away, because that's going to damage your business.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even Rocky Balboa had to get out of the ring, right? If
That's
you're a
right.
Rocky fan. And I mean, he was training Creed, but even then, this new Creed movie, he won't be in the movie most likely, because even then he has to step out. And man, I know that you have a bunch of different ideas for businesses and some things that you're working on. But the other thing is, there's a difference between trying to flex something that you don't have or be something that you're not, versus actually being that person and being the person who owns a business, who has hit 6 figures and has a gym that's running to where you're not there right now. And I imagine there's a trainer who might be holding a class right now or having a session. It's like you have that flexibility, and that's the real reason why a lot of people get into business, yet they lose they look at the glitz and the glamour, and they lose the real reason why they started, which is to provide solutions, which is to make the world progress forward and be a better place in whatever cheesy way you want to be, whatever you want to say. Like, that's a cheesy way to put it, but at the end of the day, that's true. And so I'm definitely excited to see that. And you're not just a personal trainer. You're somebody who is really, I don't know, we got some big plans. And it's going to be exciting moving forward, and seeing you speak on stages and really help other people be in that position. And although you say that you wish you had somebody who was like you, I think you wouldn't have listened. I don't think you would have listened
Great
to your younger
possibility.
self. You probably would have been like, nah, I'm going to figure it out myself. You would have picked up on a couple of different things, but you would have, at the end of the day, been like, nah, I want to find out the hard way. Were there any mentors growing up, or maybe public figures or athletes or skiers that you looked to and that were kind of that mentor, maybe from a distance, like a virtual mentor to you?
Oh yeah, there were actually. So my ski coach, my freestyle coach, was a huge mentor to me. My brothers and I are separated by 5-6 years, and during like probably my maturing times and probably my times where I was the biggest punk, because I was good at skiing and had that attitude. It was just with a great athletic abilities comes times you get to be a little a-hole. So I was that guy. And my freestyle coach, he was my mentor. He was like my big brother, away from my big brothers not being around. I would get in situations. I mean, he taught me how to drive a car. He would basically taught me how to be more mature at a time. Another one was my boss at the gas station. He grew up in Buffalo, New York. I was from Jersey, so we kind of had that same kind of attitude. He was fiery, but Man, I have to say, if I learned anything from customer service, it was that guy. Never forget Doug Brown. Um, that guy, literally everybody loved. It's the most. If you ever go to Incline Village, Lake Tahoe, by the way, it's where all the billionaires live. Steve Wynn, Mike Milken, Mark Zuckerberg, PeopleSoft guy, Larry Ellison. They all live in a 3 square mile radius little town called Incline Village, Lake Tahoe. And
Why?
man, what's that?
Why Utah?
No, Tahoe, Lake
Or
Tahoe,
Tahoe.
Nevada.
No, it's Nevada. Okay. Why? What's so attractive about that one place?
Taxes.
Oh, let me look into that really
Taxes,
quick.
taxes.
Got it. Okay.
Incline Village, Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Taxes. If you look it up, I mean, it's called Income Village. It's the little slogan is the billionaires push out the millionaires. By the way, I didn't grow up with that. I mean, actually, my dad he was the founder, not the founder. He opened up the very first computer land.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad sold computers when people were like, why don't you need a computer? I've got a typewriter. And my mom is an incredible CPA. So I have very business oriented family. And so I've learned from business from them as well, especially my dad starting up his own company, again, a frontier man, so to say, of computers.
Right.
So, but going back to Doug, this guy was about customer service. This guy was literally ingrained at a gas station where people shouldn't give him respect, but they did. He was a 5'7" little badass who was built, muscular, and everybody loved him. And I will never forget one of the things he said to me, because I had a big attitude going up through high school. I had a great day one day, and somebody did something that pissed me off, fired me up. And he comes out to me and goes, "Hey, Brian, didn't you tell me you had like the great day today? You won some competition or something like that?" So, "Yeah, you did. That guy." He goes, "So one person is going to jack up your good day? You have a point. Never forget it." But again, that guy was a master customer service, a guy of going above and beyond, making literally that gas station is the only one in that town now. You have to buy like $10 per gallon gas in this little town. And people pay it and they go there because they know what they're going to get. Not sure if he's still there. I think he was supposed to, basically his whole ultimate goal was to own the gas station. But I mean, there were little things that guy, you needed your tire change, you just broke your car down on top of Mount Rose during a snowstorm, "I'll go get you. I got you."
Wow.
He did.
That right there, if you look at the parallel between the way that he handled his business and the gas station, Brian, I don't know if you've ever realized this, but there's a direct parallel between you and how you handle the look.
Mm-hmm.
So that's brilliant, man. Brilliant. Well, honestly, this has been, I say this, it seems like every single interview because the guests keep getting better and better. But this has been my favorite interview I've done so far because you're natural at this. And it's really cool to see that, man. Like, I'm excited to see what's next and what you do and all of these other ideas from the podcast to the look and breaking off and having multiple locations to a million of different things. And where can people find you? Where can people follow you? And if somebody is in Newport Beach or in the LA area and wants to work with you or any of your other trainers, how do they go about it?
Awesome. So at Instagram, you can catch us at The Look Fitness. You can also follow me at Bryan Greene Real at Instagram. You also have Facebook, Bryan Greene Real on Facebook. You also have The Look Fitness on Facebook. Twitter, we're across all the board. You have to sign up for everything. So if you're in the Newport Beach area, we're in the hottest part of Newport Beach, right in the peninsula, in this beautiful luxury condo complex called The View. You can't miss us. It's literally right across the street from the water, and we're on the water. So if you're ready to work out literally on the water and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go work out on the water," we're the only place that can say that. It's pretty awesome.
There we go.
So
there we go.
You guys should definitely check it out.
Brian, thank you again for coming on, man. And guys, make sure to go give him a look, literally, right? Look Fitness, give Brian a look. But I'm not a comedian for a reason. But anyways, you've just got done listening to another episode of Chase the Vision with Isaac Mashman with a fantastic guest, Bryan Greene. Be on the lookout for monologues every single Monday and interviews with awesome people like Brian every single Friday. Much love.